Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 4 is here, and it may have changed the MCU forever in a super dark and disturbing way. Let's talk about all of the reveals in the episode, but particularly that very bloody cliffhanger that, again, definitely changes things. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button, and a reminder, a large part of what we do at the Den of Nerds happens over on our live streaming channel, which is literally a totally separate channel. Go check it out. We live stream over there all the time. Now, I did want to do a spoiler warning for Episode 4, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The episode came out. We're obviously going to do a little breakdown here, getting into all the little things that are in there. So, spoiler warning, and let's get into it. Now, we begin with a cold open flashback after the recap in which we see Bucky during his time in Wakandan, which is said to be 6 years ago, which indicates that after he had the Winter Soldier program removed from his brain, that he was likely in Wakanda for a whole year until Thanos happened. That's not exact, but that's kind of an indication that is given there. And this scene was incredible. Sebastian Stan killed it, put so much emotion into this moment when he is struggling, going through all of the flashbacks, all of the trauma, all of the death that has followed him around during his Winter Soldier time. And Io is there with him, and we can see that there is some intimacy there. She is trying to help him. She is fond of him. She can see his brokenness, and it's very hard for me to think that these two were in a moment like that and didn't have other intimate moments in Wakanda. And then after the flashback, in the conversation that the two of them have, we get even more reveal. The conversation sort of indicates a lot of things in subtext. Number one, it indicates that there's some kind of a respect there for the White Wolf from Wakanda. Otherwise, why put the beads out there? Why talk to him at all? And why give him the 8-hour window? Now, obviously, Io is telling him straight up there is no love, and we will be taking Zemo. But Bucky later indicates to the guys that he bought them some time. Again, this indicates that there's some equity, shared experience, and possibly even romance between either Bucky and Io or Bucky and Shuri. And I think it's actually even hinted at that Io is there representing Shuri, not representing the king. And this is implied because Bucky says to her that he is grateful for everything that she and Shuri did for him. And later on in the episode, John Walker indicates that the Dora Milaje do not have jurisdiction where they are at, and that implies that he knows of Wakanda and the jurisdiction that Wakanda has, and this could be something to do with T'Challa and Wakanda's agreement with the different governments of the world. Because you'll remember, T'Challa is the king that takes Wakanda into the world, but he was gone for 5 years, so who knows exactly what the power structure of Wakanda currently is. And I believe Io may be more loyal to Shuri than she is to T'Challa. Regardless, we don't know exactly what it means, but it's pretty cool. We get a lot of little subtext hinted at here. We see some of the trauma from Bucky and Wakanda. I loved this scene, and it sets up this sort of 8-hour clock that sort of hangs over the rest of the episode. Now we get into some Zemo stuff, and I found this all to be very interesting. Zemo, of course, killing it. The candy, creepy scene, the tea that he's making for everybody, the obvious machinations that he has. He's playing everybody. It's brilliant. It's charming. It's creepy. It's Zemo. And the big interplay here is the idea that Zemo in the Winter Soldier was hell-bent on destroying the other super soldiers. He hates the idea of super soldiers, and he hates the idea of supremacists. And we get a lot of Zemo explaining his thoughts on supremacist ideals, how this took us to create things like the Red Skull and the Avengers, sort of conflating the two and really just showing where Zemo is at with this. And Zemo indicates to Sam and Bucky that he believes Karli is also a supremacist, and there's no way you can take a super soldier serum and not go down the path of becoming a supremacist. We get John Walker and Lamar Hoskins showing up as well, trying to bust up the party and do things their way, but Zemo gets information about where the funeral will be held for the mentor figure of Karli. This is the best opportunity for them to find Karli, but there's a huge debate and difference among almost all of the characters of what to do with Karli. Zemo seems to want to eliminate Karli, or at the very least, eliminate the super soldier serum, and he thinks that Sam is being naive. And Sam believes that Karli has not gone too far to the dark side. He has some things that he can see eye to eye with Karli on, and he wants desperately to bring her back to the light side. Bucky's somewhere in between. I don't think he fully believes either side. And John Walker is absolutely under the impression that they do not need to give her another chance. They need to eliminate this threat and stop what is happening right now. And this all sort of comes to a head in the funeral scene, and I did think it was very interesting, some of the interplay of the history of the characters. I mean, first of all four of these guys are military guys, right? Sam, Bucky, Lamar, and John Walker. They're all military, and what I loved was that Sam, and the fact that he worked with ex-vets and was like sort of almost like a PTSD counselor type dude, and that was his skill set, that asset becomes valuable in the idea of bringing Karli in. And he makes a very good point about how she is vulnerable right now, and this could be the moment to break through to her emotionally because she did lose someone close to her. John Walker is like, not about that life, but Lamar steps in and gets John to bend on this one and give Sam a chance to use his training to bring Karli in peacefully. And this all leads to a very interesting dialogue sequence between Karli and Sam. And this scene is very interesting. There's a lot of common ground between these two characters. They have both suffered and struggled, and they both feel disenfranchised by different elitist type people and organization and institutions in the world. Sam feels her pain, and it's not even like hard to see why. I mean, it's set up that Sam's struggle as a black man in America make him understand the struggles that Karli is going through, at least on like a emotional level. What Sam is telling Karli is, though, that he agrees with why she is fighting, but he cannot get down with how she is fighting, and she is killing innocent people, and that is just not okay. And of course, this scene really just indicates that Sam is exactly the person we thought he was. He is the perfect person to take up the mantle of Steve Rogers, and he is the person that Steve picked because of this exact character aspect. Sam can see the good in her, but he can also recognize and clearly see the bad in her, the evil, the wrong, and while not condemning her as a person, can absolutely condemn her actions. And then John Walker can't freaking wait 10 freaking minutes and comes in and ruins everything. He busts in, gets punched by Karli, and then Karli escapes, but not before Zemo finds her, shoots her a couple of times, and then smashes almost all of the super soldier serum except a singular vial, which is of course picked up by John Walker. After this sequence, Zemo, Sam, and Bucky go back to Zemo's pad in this city. Walker and Lamar bust in, and they were ready to get into it. I mean, Walker sets the shield down and is literally about to square off against Sam before the Dora Milaje come in and interrupt. And let me just say too, I feel completely robbed. I would have loved to see that one-on-one fight. Now, the Dora Milaje come in and handle frickin' business as the Dora Milaje do. And John Walker, who fancies himself, the new Captain America, gets his butt completely whooped. And it shakes him, man. He's like, they weren't even super soldiers. And he's really shaken. And I think it was at that moment that he was like, nah, I'm taking this serum. Now, literally all of them get whooped on by the Dora Milaje, which, again, is to be expected. These are some of the most elite warriors around in the MCU. And Bucky, who's probably one of the only people that could put up a actual decent fight against the Dora Milaje, is not only unwilling to really do so, but then Io totally does a sneak attack on him and takes off his vibranium arm. But Zemo does manage to escape from this scene, which is really interesting. I have no idea where he went or how he was really able to escape the Dora Milaje. I don't know. Seems a little weird to me, but he does escape. Okay, so it's after this point that Karli totally crosses the line, calls Sam's sister, and threatens not only her, but her children. And that leads to Karli meeting with Sam and Bucky, and this confrontation is just where things go haywire. I mean, Sam is totally pissed off. Karli clearly crossed the line, and in a really weird dialogue sequence, she tells Sam that she doesn't want to kill him. He's just a tool for the institutions she wants to dismantle, and that he's not hiding behind a shield, therefore killing him would be meaningless. And there's something really interesting that's happening in this scene, because I think Sam is starting to realize not only how crazy Karli is, but possibly how important symbols actually are on the grand scale. Walker's coming in hot again, ruining everything, and then chaos ensues. Lamar and Walker get separated, Lamar gets captured, and Walker discovers this and sort of starts snapping, and we can see that he clearly has taken the super soldier serum off camera for some reason. You know, because this scene wasn't really cool. Anyway, we see that he has taken the super soldier serum. He's really, really strong, kicking a lot of butt, and then Sam sees it and is like, what did you do? And, you know, Walker's not about to explain himself. He simply just says that they have Lamar, and then they both then go after him. Basically, a big old fight breaks out, and Walker is being held chest open by one of the flag smashers for Karli to come in and stab him in the heart. Lamar literally comes in and saves John Walker's life, only for Karli to literally Superman punch him into a pillar, killing him. And this is when we see the breakdown of John Walker completely. He goes absolutely nuts, tracks down one of the flag smashers, and then brutally murders him in front of a crowd full of people, all watching and filming on their cell phones. And this scene was crazy, super impactful. Love the way it was shot. Very dark, gruesome. I personally could have used it being a little more gruesome, but I know maybe I'm just a crazy person. But it was very cool, and it is going to change things, guys. First of all, there is no way John Walker is going to be able to keep that shield. He will likely be dishonorably discharged, and we will see him even further break down. Now, one of the questions is going to be, will the government realize that John Walker has super soldier serum in him? What will that do? And does John now have to go on the run and become an anti-hero as U.S. agent joining the Thunderbolts? So that's sort of the John Walker side of it all. I mean, I just don't think there's any way that he's going to be able to keep the shield and continue to be the role of Captain America. This was way too ridiculous, way too bloody. It's a super bad look. And on the flip side of that, I think this means for Sam, he will be offered to be Captain America. I do believe that the shots we saw in some of the early training trailers of him training with the shield will be happening in episode 5, as that is now rumored to be a 61-minute episode that will take Sam and Bucky back to Louisiana. And so we are now at a crossroads in the MCU. We have now seen the ugliness of John Walker as Captain America. I think that is literally only going to cause more problems for the governments of the world, the people of the world. And again, this idea of paranoia, this idea of things not being put back perfectly, and the next several years of the MCU happening in this really shaky time period for the world. I think this is all super significant and obvious, and the John Walker killing someone and that blood on that shield is a really poignant, symbolic way to show us what is going to be happening in the next couple of years. And it will also set up Sam to be a really important Captain America, almost way more important than he would have been beforehand. If he had just taken the shield from Steve and stepped up as Captain America, probably would have been cool, but maybe not as impactful. Now that John has been Captain America, and he obviously crossed a major line here, if Sam accepts the shield and becomes Captain America again and takes this PR problem head on, man, that could be very impactful and really sort of earn him a place as a legacy character being the new Captain America. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there is my breakdown of the episode. I felt like there was a lot of interesting little things that happened, teases for the future, interesting character developments, and of course, amazing and also tragic cliffhanger ending with John Walker destroying this dude with the Captain America shield in front of seemingly the whole world. So let us know what you thought about the episode. What do you think is going to happen to John Walker? What do you think is going to happen to the shield? You think it's now going to be Sam's? What do you think is going to happen next? And what did you think about all the interesting things that happened in episode 4? Let us know in the comments section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.